Sometimes, the past hides in plain sight. For me, it was tucked away in a dusty photograph I found in my attic one rainy afternoon. I had gone up there to look for an old suitcase, but instead, my eyes caught a frame wedged between two boxes. The photo showed a group of 4 people standing in front of a seaside house. 3 of them I recognized instantly: my late husband Henry, my younger sister Clara, and me. But the 4th man, standing behind us with his hand on Clara's shoulder, was a stranger. The back of the photograph had only one sentence, written in Henry's handwriting: "If you ever find this, don't trust her." My hands trembled. My sister and I hadn't spoken in over 20 years, not since Henry's sudden death. I didn't know what to think. Why would Henry leave that message? And who was the man in the picture? Before I go on, I want to make a small request. If you're listening to this story, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave a like. It helps me know that you're here with me, listening, feeling. Now, let's continue. That night, I couldn't sleep. Every time thunder rolled across the sky, I saw Henry's face in that photograph. The next morning, I called Clara. She didn't answer the first few times. When she finally did, her voice was distant, careful, like she was talking to a stranger. "Clara, I found something." "A photo," I said softly. There was a long silence. Then she whispered, "Where did you find it?" "In the attic. It has Henry's handwriting on it." Another pause. Then she said, "Don't dig into that, Evelyn. Let it rest." And she hung up. But I couldn't let it rest. Something inside me, a mix of grief and curiosity, pushed me forward. I decided to drive to the old seaside town where the picture was taken. The house was still there, faded but familiar. When I stepped inside, the air smelled like salt and secrets. On the mantel was a single item, a key. A small brass key tied with a red ribbon. I didn't know it yet, but that key was about to open more than just a lock. It was going to open the past. I stood there in the old beach house, the brass key glinting faintly under the grey morning light. It was cold, yet the air felt alive, like the walls themselves were holding their breath. I found a small chest tucked beneath the stairs. Its lock was old, the kind you'd see in antique shops, and the brass key fit perfectly. When I turned it, a faint click echoed through the empty room. Inside were letters, dozens of them, tied with a faded blue ribbon. They were addressed to Henry Whitmore, my husband. And every one of them was signed by Clara. My heart sank. I read the first line of the first letter, written in her delicate handwriting. "He doesn't know, Henry. She can't ever find out." The words blurred before my eyes. For a moment, I couldn't breathe. I wanted to tell myself it was all a misunderstanding, but the truth was already whispering to me, cruel and clear. They had shared something, a secret that went far beyond family ties. I sat there on the floor, surrounded by the ghosts of their words. Anger, sadness, betrayal, they all came at once. But beneath them, there was something else too, confusion. Because if Henry had known, why would he warn me not to trust her? None of it made sense. Unless something had happened between them that went wrong. That's when I noticed one last envelope, separate from the rest. It had no address, only a date, August 12th, the night before Henry drowned. With trembling fingers, I opened it. "Henry, I can't go through with this. She'll never forgive me. Let's just tell her the truth tomorrow. Please. No more lies." The ink was smudged, as if written in tears. And suddenly, I understood. They hadn't betrayed me. They had been hiding something, but not an affair. Something darker, something they both regretted. Before I could read further, a noise came from the porch, slow footsteps on the wooden floorboards. Evelyn? The voice froze my blood. It was Clara. She stood in the doorway, older now, but her eyes still sharp, her posture still proud. I held up one of the letters. How long were you going to let me believe you hated me? I asked. Clara's expression softened, then crumbled. You weren't supposed to find those. Then what was I supposed to find, Clara? A warning from my dead husband telling me not to trust my own sister? Tears welled in her eyes. You don't understand, as she whispered. Henry was trying to protect you. From what? She hesitated, then said, from me. For a moment, I thought I'd misheard her. Then she stepped closer. That night, we were arguing at the pier. I wanted to tell you everything. Henry tried to stop me, said the truth would break you. We struggled. He fell into the water. I tried to pull him out, Evelyn, I swear I did. But the tide was too strong. The room spun. The words hit me like cold waves. You killed him? I asked, my voice trembling. No, she said, sobbing. It was an accident. But I couldn't face you. So I left. And Henry, before he died, he made me promise to keep you away from the truth. He wanted you to remember him as he was. Not as the man who lied to protect me. I sank to my knees. The letters, the warning, the photograph, they all made sense now. Henry hadn't written a "don't trust her" to condemn Clara. He wrote it to protect me from a pain I wasn't ready to bear. Clara's confession hung heavy in the air. Outside, the sea roared against the cliffs, its rhythm almost matching the pounding of my heart. I didn't know what to say. I'd spent 2 decades resenting her, building a wall of bitterness brick by brick. And now that wall was crumbling, leaving me exposed and trembling. Why didn't you tell me? I finally asked. Clara looked down, her voice breaking. Because you would have hated me forever. And maybe I thought I deserved that. She handed me a small wooden box. Henry wanted you to have this. I kept it all these years. I thought one day, when you were ready, I'd give it to you. But I was too much of a coward. Inside was an old cassette tape. On it, in Henry's handwriting, were 3 simple words. For Evelyn, only truth. My fingers shook as I placed it into the recorder on the shelf. The sound of the tape spinning filled the silence. Then his voice, warm and familiar, filled the room. Evelyn, if you're listening to this, it means everything fell apart. There are things I kept from you, not because I wanted to, but because I thought I was protecting you. Clara and we were working together to uncover what really happened to your father. His death wasn't an accident. He found something that powerful people wanted buried, and Clara was helping me find proof. I didn't tell you because I feared for your safety. My breath caught in my throat. My father? For years I believed he died peacefully in his sleep. But someone found out, Henry continued. That night at the pier, we were being followed. I told Clara to run. She didn't. She stayed, and when I fell, she tried to save me. If she hadn't, you might have lost us both. So please, Evelyn, don't blame her. Promise me that you'll forgive her. And when you find the photograph, you'll know who the 4th man is. His name is Mason Ward. He's the one who killed your father. The proof you need is hidden where the tide never sleeps. The recording ended with a faint crackle. Clara was crying silently. I tried to find that proof, as she said. But after Henry died, I couldn't. I lost everything. The courage, the will. All I could do was run. For a long moment, I just stared at her, torn between anger and grief. Then I whispered, "The tide never sleeps, the pier." That night, we returned to the pier together, two old women chasing ghosts under a moonlit sky. The waves crashed below, and the wind carried the smell of salt and memory. We searched for hours until I found it, a rusted metal box wedged between the rocks beneath the old steps. Inside was a bundle of papers, damp but legible. They were financial records, letters, and one photograph, the same man from before, Mason Ward, shaking hands with a politician I instantly recognized. It was proof of corruption, of everything my father had tried to expose. As the truth unfolded in my hands, I felt both heavy and light. Heavy with years of pain, light with release. Clara touched my shoulder. Henry trusted you to finish what he couldn't. I looked at her, tears blurring my vision. No, Clara. He trusted us. We turned the evidence over to the police the next morning. For the first time in years, my heart felt still. The burden that had haunted both of us had finally found its place, in the open. Weeks passed. Investigations began, names made headlines, and for once, justice didn't feel like a fantasy. Clara and I began to see each other again, slowly, carefully. There were no apologies big enough, only moments of shared silence that meant more than words ever could. One evening, she brought me a framed copy of that old photograph. This time, the note on the back was written in my handwriting. Forgiveness is not forgetting, it's choosing peace. We hung it on my living room wall. Every time I passed it, I thought of Henry, of love, sacrifice, and the courage it takes to face the truth, no matter how long it hides. Sometimes I sit by the window and watch the tide. It still moves endlessly, whispering like an old friend. And I think about what Henry said, "The tide never sleeps." Neither does love. Before I end this story, I want to thank you for listening. If you're still here, it means this story touched something in you, maybe a memory, maybe a lesson. Please, subscribe to the channel and tell me in the comments what city you're watching from. Because in the end, stories like this remind us of one simple truth. The past can break you, or it can free you. And sometimes, forgiveness is the only key that fits.